Hi, I'm Paul.
I'm Tammy.
We're inseparable. And today you'll find this pretty interesting video, and it might seem a little off for us, but we want to give some advice to parents that have a child that's come home with an age gap partner, with a considerably older partner, and what to do, what not to do, because you could make the matter worse. Okay. A lot depends on the age of your child. If your child's under the age of consent, well then you probably want to be calling the police. If your child's over the age of consent and under 18, they're still under your control. So you have the right to say who they can and can't date with. And if you don't get cooperation on that, again, you could speak to your local police, a lawyer. I think a restraining order is the route to go, but I'm not a law enforcement person or a lawyer. Mm-hmm. So, you know, these are just some ideas on what you can do. That's kind of a gray area when somebody has reached the age of consent in a lot of places, 16, but they're not fully an adult yet, which they would be 18. Also was looking at something the other day, and it ended up directing me to, somebody who wanted to date her high school teacher. And some people asking if it was right or not. And it was a legal site, and they were saying, well, we're not here to answer what is right or not. Mm-hmm. It might affect his career if you do that, but as far as legal, if you're 18 years old, you can date whoever you want to date.
Right.
Nobody can tell you they're off limits. So, if they do come home, and one of the things that made me think of this is my mother-in-law said that to me the first time I met her, and I have a daughter the same age as my wife, and she said, well, what would you do if your daughter came home with somebody your age? And, well, the first thing I would do is think, what the hell did I do wrong? I must have screwed up in some way. But there are some instances where this works. There are some instances where this is actually good for your child. Mm-hmm. Okay? So what can you do? Well, one of the things you can do is look into this guy's background, or girl, or woman. Do they live locally? Have they been in the community do they have a reputation, a good reputation in the community? If that's the case, and really there's no reason other than their age, you just might want to take your hands off it and either let it run its course, and you could let it run its course, and 25 years later, it's still running its course. I guess probably trying to break it up is not a good idea. If you do try to break it up, what's going to happen?
You're going to end up pushing them together.
Right.
You're going to make your child want to be with that person more, so.
Yeah, you're just going to strengthen that. If the person is not local, some sort of traveling salesman, somebody they met online, somebody that's not known to you, do a background check.
Yeah.
Find out something about this person, because, and that would be the thing that you could bring to your child and say, well, we went online, and for $30, we kind of looked up your mate, and did you know he or she was married?
If they don't know, yeah.
Well, they told me they weren't. Mm-hmm. Just one thing like that would be enough probably to get them out of the relationship, get them to decide on their own to get out of the relationship. And I did mention there are a couple of situations where this might be beneficial for them, might not be beneficial for them, but might be the reason that this is happening. And one of them is genetic autism. Mm-hmm. I mean, if they're, and I'm not talking about people with intellectual difficulties. They have a TV show where they match up people with autism with ID or intellectual difficulties and such, and it's a cute little show and stuff. But most of the people dating with autism have normal or high intelligence. Okay, and that is the case with us. All right, and knowing that, we were just talking about this on the couch, you know. So what might be the benefit of, say, somebody with high or normal intelligence, autism, being with an older partner?
Well, they need that quiet life, so they don't want to go out to clubs and stuff like that a younger person might want to do, so that's what makes them compatible.
Yeah, you actually become more compatible, and people in that category tend to want to hang out when they do socialize with older people.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And that's one of the things I wanted to say where you mentioned about the thing with like my mother saying that to you and you saying, well, what did I do wrong? There's nothing wrong with age gap relationships. You're attracted to who you're attracted to. I don't think it's like the parent to blame for it or anything because their child is attracted to an older. Because if that relationship doesn't work out, we've seen people in the age gap groups that end up in another age gap. So that's who they're attracted to, you know. So I wouldn't necessarily say that's the parent's fault if they did anything wrong.
Right, and I'm not saying that either. That was just my first thought.
Right.
When she said it to me, that was
I just wanted to clarify.
You know, and I think that might be your first thought too. If you know, and it was interesting to see a girl that's a friend of mine who has a daughter, and she's in an age gap relationship, saying, "Well, if my daughter does the same, I'm going to be on that like white on rice." And it's like, okay, well, maybe you might expect it. And maybe you should, think about it. But that's the thing, that's the one thing you can do. You want to make sure that your child isn't with some kind of con artist or what they call a relationship predator.
Yeah.
Tony Atwood calls them, gives them that name. And, because people that are autistic, and I'm talking about normal intelligence, and you might even not know that they're autistic, are very highly victimized for sexual assault dating. So you do want to be careful with that. But on the other hand, that's why if you find somebody, or she finds somebody, or he finds somebody, and they're a good person, you don't want to break that up, because you might break that up and they might end up with somebody, 10 years closer to their age. It's not a good person.
Well, that's what I was thinking is, even though my mom wasn't happy about it, like, you're a good guy, you take care of me, you're safe, it's like, and I met you through somebody I know, so you're not some stranger, like a long distance, or someone I met online, or something like that, but I just think that, don't always just think that an older guy with a younger woman has bad intentions. It can work out. Right.
Well, and I think that the two profiles of that is either the person is predatory or the person's protective. They might recognize this person's attracted to me. She might be attracted to other men my age or somebody that might not be good for her. At least I know I can keep her safe.
I could have been with somebody my own age that was abusive. I don't really think age has to do with it. People see it as the age gap. The older person has control or something like that. But when you're in an age gap, you realize that's not the case. To me, it's just a normal relationship. It's like anybody else's. That's age alike. So.
And one of the things that's observed by a lot of people that are older partners that are protective is the outside world looks at them as controlling.
Yeah.
Well, this is an abusive relationship, you're controlling. And you say, he's not controlling me. I have a license, I have a phone, I have a car, I have a bank account, I have a credit card.
Yeah.
I can go as I please, come and go as I please. I'm not locked up inside the house, okay? But you might get a person that would be like that. So that's where you want to be careful. I mean, and that's the one thing you can do. I mean, if you have to, if this person is unknown, or even if they're known, you want to go do a background check, And if they've lied to your child, you can point out that lie. You know, what do you know about it? Well, you know, or her, are they married? Have they ever been married? Have they ever been in trouble with the law? Or, you know, stuff like that. And they say, oh no, they told me all about that. They've never been married, or they've never ever been arrested or anything like that. Well,
Yeah,
there you go.
here's the background check.
You know.
They lied to you, yeah.
If the background check comes back clean, well, they just...
Yeah, I think it's better to support it in that case. Just try to be supportive and see where it goes instead of fighting against it.
Yeah.
Better not to push your child away, because that just will cause resentment.
Well, you know, and it could be a crush thing, where the younger person is learning for the older person because they look up to them and stuff like that. Well, those relationships don't last very long.
Yeah.
You know, last from maybe 3 to 6 months to the outside, like 4 years. But somebody who was giving advice about that said, well, if you're married to somebody that's gone limerent for somebody else, if you try to pull them apart, they're just going to push them together. And I think the same thing applies in age gap, or any couple really.
Yeah.
But more the outside force, and it's one of the things that actually helps age gap couples, and they don't realize it. They complain about, you know, the outside judgment and stuff like that, but you begin to forge a me and you against the world,
Yeah.
and it actually makes you stronger and tighter.
It's true.
You know, and if that's not what you want, but you know, if it does happen, it's not the end of the world. The other thing that might cause somebody to lean towards an age gap would be CPTSD, which creates the same brain wiring in a child, and a young child, that are autistic, genetically autistic, and there only is, autism is only genetic. If it's anything else that looks like autism, and it's not genetic, it's not autism. And CPTSD looks a lot like it because it creates the same or a similar brain wiring as autism does. And so sometimes they're confused, and you know, and it's important to know which it is because of treatment and things like that. But somebody with CPTSD that gets into an age gap relationship might have a more difficult time. The ones that are purely autism, you know, those work out. Those last a long time. You're not going to be able to fight against that.
No.
We know that. We know a lot of couples. We talk to them. We know that's the background. That's the ones that last. And if it's your child is a male and he's in love with a woman that's 20 years older than him, and that, you know, he you know, he's Asperger's, you know, a term that people don't use anymore, but, you know, that's simple a way of saying normal intelligence, autism. I don't know what you do, you know. Hopefully the same thing. Hopefully she's good. She'll be good for him, you know. And that's the thing. You don't, people aren't in relationships unless they're attracted to each other.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if it's usury type thing or transactional type relationship, that's one thing. But a real relationship, real love, even if you can't see how somebody her age, her looks, could be attracted to somebody like me, she is. She was. You know, and I might find it hard to believe myself, but it's true. You know, 25 years. It's like, that doesn't happen. You know, people online saying, well, you must have manipulated her, or what's the word, groomed her or something like that. Well, if that was the case, it wouldn't last for 25 years.
Right.
You don't do that for 25 years. You know, if you trick somebody into a relationship and it lasts 25 years, you did them a favor. Really. And I mean, especially if they're happy and she's happy, right?
Yeah.
You're laughing, you see, you know, we're very public. You know, we're out there on YouTube. You can see our videos, you know, and you can see, and you know, you say, well, it's acting and stuff like that. Well, and what can I say?
Yeah.
You know,
Think what you want.
think what you want. But anyways, hope that helps you. God bless. Take care. We love you.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.